This week on One Crazy Story, comedian DC Malone joins us to talk about why you shouldn't marry someone you've only known for 5 days, and more.
This woman, I don't know who she was, never seen her before, comes up to me, puts her arms on my shoulders, and kisses me on the cheek, and says, I just wanted to wish you the best of luck. This is the most romantic thing I've ever seen in my life. I thought that was so sweet. All of a sudden, hand on my shoulder, Judy, my new wife, spins me around in front of this woman and goes, what's this, one of your old fucks?
Hello and welcome to another edition of One Crazy Story. I'm your host, Nate Armbruster, and this week I'm talking with comedian DC Malone. DC and I met back in 2012. The night we met, some crazy stuff went down, and I finally saw him again just a few weeks ago and thought this was the perfect occasion to record a conversation with him. You know, he's been around a while and he's lived a crazy life, and he's the perfect guest for a conversation like this because the guy's got a lot of crazy stories to share, and a lot of them he does on stage, but he was kind enough to go a little deeper with me on this episode, and also we talk a little bit about what happened the night we met, which is pretty ridiculous. Cedar Rapids, Iowa is full of a bunch of freaks. And if you live there, I'm not talking about you. So thanks for listening. If you haven't yet, subscribe on iTunes, all of the usual suspects, every podcast platform that you may listen on. Now, enjoy this week's episode with myself and comedian DC Malone. It's so funny, like, I feel like we've been through about a 12-year friendship. You know what I mean? You know how, like, some shit can happen to you and you're like, man, I feel like I've aged?
Yeah.
But I feel like that happened with our relationship, just because it had a strong jumping off point.
Yes.
Stronger than most relationships, at least within comedy, in my experience.
Actually, that's very true. That's very true.
Because I mean,
I just remember all the times that we just because we were both smoking back then, and we would have our smoke breaks and we would chat. We would chat. And
get some fresh air, you know?
Yeah.
Fresh nicotine air.
Yeah, that's right. and I just thought, I thought you were a good kid, man. I enjoyed your company, and I thought you were funny, So I'm okay now. I realize that, you're not that good, but at the time.
To put it into some perspective, though, this is like 2012. I'm like 20. I'm not even 21 because I couldn't even drink yet. We didn't know each other, and there was a fallout, and I lucked out with the week, like a last minute cancellation, and I just lucked out, and they're like, okay, Nate's available, we'll just put him in there, and I'm excited because it's the first time going out to Cedar Rapids,
right? And
it's about an 8-hour drive for me, and I show up in Cedar Rapids, and on the way there, somehow you got a hold of me, and you're like, I need a ride from the airport, so I literally drove directly to the airport,
right?
We go right to the hotel. We check in. All right, I'll see you downstairs to go to the show. And I drive because you had to go do your sound check.
Right.
And I drive us over because you didn't have a car. And the plan was I had agreed to, like, yeah, of course, I'll take you to the gig, and I'll take you to Cedar Falls because we're going to Cedar Falls the next week.
Right.
So of course I'm going to take you. But we go do the gig the first night on Friday, and the show goes great. You start drinking, having a nice, you're on the road, you're having the great show. The people at the show were fun. They started, giving you shots. Next thing you know,
which they do.
Yeah, and it got to a point where I was like, yeah, we should probably head out soon, and because it was getting late. We only had one show, and I had been driving 8-hour drive. I picked you up, it was just like a busy day, and I was like, I kind of want to go sleep or whatever. And you're like, hey, just another, just a little bit, and I was like, sure, and we hang out for a little longer, and I kept going, come on, hey, DC, and you get, progressively more drunk throughout
which I have done.
No, but I mean, that's normal. You're at a bar, you're having a nice night, I mean, you were doing nothing wrong. It was just like one of those things where it's like trying to get your friend out, out of the bar. And something about these people, I didn't really care to talk to them or whatever, the people you were drinking with, and they didn't really seem to care that I was, it was like just people at the show. And so you guys were hanging out all night, and finally I was like, all right, man, I think I'm definitely gonna go now. You should come with me, because they were just making me uncomfortable for some reason, and like,
well, and plus remember the one girl I was flirting with.
Yeah.
I was flirting with
It's
the one girl.
it's always a female. A female will make you stay.
And I was pretty. Oh man, I was pretty sure that she was.
Yeah, you were sure, and I was like, no, and and I'm sober, and I'm like, she's not interested in you, man. Trust me.
But
you're like, no, she is. We had a moment.
I'm at that.
She
point,
gave me Jameson.
I'm at that point in my life where I go, no, that's not possible.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a hot woman that would maybe be leading me down a wrong path. No,
They all do.
She digs me, man.
She digs me.
No, you were very.
She's a Cedar Rapids 9. She's a
and you were very compassionate.
nice corn-fed gal.
The only thing was I didn't listen to a goddamn thing you said.
Well, you were quite drunk, and I see the thing is I didn't know you. I don't know your drinking habits or the way you drink. I mean, like now I know. And this woman kept feeding you shots or whatever, and I was like, all right, I'm definitely gonna go. And you're like, we're gonna go down to this other bar, and I was like, I'm not going. Because first of all, I'm not gonna get in because I wasn't 21. I didn't want to deal with the whole, oh, you're not even 21, like that kind of shit. And like, I was like, I just want to go back to the hotel, man.
But I have to tell you, I don't even know why, what your inspiration was to think that those people might have harmed me in any way. And I'm really not sure, but I mean, of course you were right.
I didn't think they were gonna harm you. They just seemed creepy to me. Like, I'm like, something's off about these people. They're just very like, I don't know, like you can tell body language if like if somebody's like what they're up to a little bit. I'm like, something's off, and like they were trying to get you out of the club.
Yeah.
And I was like, and my personal rule most of the time is like, I'm not going anywhere else with these people because as soon as I leave here, no one gives a fuck what I'm doing in town. You know what I mean? At least if I'm at the comedy club, the staff knows me, and they're like, "No, that's one of the comedians." You know what I mean? And you wanted to go down to this bar, and I was like, "I'm not going," because I was like, I'm gonna give them 3 chances to come with me, and I was like,
well, what I asked these people was that, do you know where there's some blues?
Yes,
I wanted to hear.
Yes, it always comes tonight. We're in northern Michigan in a small town. And you're like, let's go to that blues place that's closed. It's only open on Sundays.
It's like, there's 4 people at this place, and I have to say, you once again very wise. DC, you don't want to go there. No one wants to go there. It's a horrible.
Not
place.
even the people that live here want to be here.
That's very true.
So I was like, I'm gonna give him 3 chances. I'm gonna be real, no, I'm leaving right now. I did that I'm gonna do that 3 times. And then after the 3rd time, I'm like, he's a grown man. I mean, whatever. I'm gonna let him go. He's probably fine. Like, this thing is like, yeah, I knew you were drunk, like pretty drunk, but I was like, what am I gonna do? You're 7 foot tall. You know what I mean? Like, what am I gonna do? Carry, or like, what am I gonna do? I don't know. Like, I literally had no clue what I would do. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm tired. I'm gonna go sleep. And I was like, and you ended up getting in these people's car, and you're like, we're going to sing the blues. And I was like, all right, DC. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. And
the worst thing that ever happened to me, and you had a clue.
Well, I just was sober, man.
You knew that something bad was going to happen, but for some reason, I didn't listen to you.
But I didn't know what, or like I couldn't. I was like, maybe they'll trying to get him to do some weird stuff with that dude. Like my brain didn't even go. I'm like, it didn't get anything weird than it's some sort of weird sexual encounter you're about to have. I was like, this dude, I'm pretty sure this dude's into him, and this woman's gonna trap him. That was really what I came up with in my head. But I was like, you know what? Good for him.
She was teasing me.
Yeah, that's what they do, man.
Yeah, I know. Women.
They'll do that.
They're evil.
They'll do that to you.
They're evil. So the last thing I remember, of course, he's like, DC, don't go with those people. I said, no, I know. They know where the blues is. I'm going to go listen to some blues.
You see this, yes.
And you go, oh, man. And then off you go, and off I go.
Yeah.
I jump into the car with him. And the last thing I remember is we go to this place, and the guy, I was flirting with a girl. and I just thought the girl was really, just hot.
She was hot. I'll give
Yeah.
you that. She was a Cedar Rapids 9. Like I said.
Cedar Rapids hot. And I go, hey, I'm talking some stuff. I'm talking some stuff with her, and so I really, you're really nice. And then the guy comes up and gives me a shot.
Yeah,
he bought me a shot, and that's where it all goes haywire.
Yeah,
because and that was probably the shot that did it.
Yeah.
This guy who I'm sure was upset that I was, flirting with his girlfriend, probably was his
yeah, this whole time. No wonder he messed with you because they were probably in a relationship.
Yeah,
or he wanted to be in a relationship with her.
And
that makes so much sense, though.
So
I love that we're piecing this together now, like 6 years later, because I've never forgotten about this. I'll think about it. I've told people this story because it's fucking crazy.
Anyway, so the guy brings me a cocktail. And I do the cocktail. That's the last thing I remember. And I remember when I said to these people, I love the blues. Is there some place where they have blues? And it's, oh yeah, we'll take you there. and you're being very very careful. And you said DC, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shut the fuck up,
Hey, what the fuck do you know, you kid?
You're 10. What do you know?
Yeah, and in your defense, I was 20. Which is twice that amount. So you're not far off. And also, but I would think the same thing though. I would kind of have that same like, what does this kid know? He's never been blacked out talking to a Cedar Rapids 9 while she's.
Well, except those 2 or 3 times. No. I mean, I knew you had some experience. I know that, but I'm just saying, I really looked at you like you were just you're just being a nice kid.
Yeah.
So and you actually know better what happened next. Someone slipped me a roofie in that and I'm pretty sure it's him or her. Actually, it could have been either one.
So at this point though, I'm in the hotel bed.
Yeah.
I gave you my number. I was like, call me, and I did say I was like, call me if there's a problem, but I'm gonna go back.
The last thing I remember is being at that club and when I told them I wanted to go hear some blues, they said this is the blues. Well, it was some single guy on stage playing acoustic guitar. No blues. Nothing
blues.
About the blues. And that was the last thing I remember. The next thing is what you probably heard this the next day. I wake up.
Oh.
And I'm in a hotel room. I don't know where I am. I don't know what hotel it is.
The best thing about the next morning is I woke up to the hotel phone ringing. Like, who the fuck's calling me here? And it was you, and you go, "Hey man, I go, how was your night?" Like, I was thinking like, it went great. I was like, I'm expecting this woman came back to your hotel room and you guys had a blast. And you're like, he goes, and you were like distraught. You were like, you were definitely panicking because you're like, how did I end up in room 402?
Where?
Which is not the room you checked in to. You go, I have none of my shit's in here. I can't find my wallet. I need my medication. You're like listing off all of the important shit that was missing. And I was like, what happened? I go, where are you? And you're like, I don't even know. And luckily you were at least in the right hotel.
Yeah.
You just were in a different room for some reason.
And I have to thank the staff at that hotel for not calling the police and having me arrested.
Well, it wasn't. You didn't do anything.
Well, but the
you
thing
didn't. You were a victim.
I came back to. I don't even know how I got back to the hotel. That's the whole thing.
This is how we figured it out, though, because we did this like fucked up version of like, detective work of like, and I think this is funny at first before I realized you were like actually upset because you're like maybe it goes you're like, I'm gonna go back to my room and meet me downstairs for breakfast. We go to the restaurant in the hotel, and I'm like, I'm blown away because I'm like, I don't get it, man. You're just not even. How do you even get in this room? Like, what did you do? Like, and you have no idea. And you blacked out. You were roofied.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got an idea. Why don't we call your cell phone? This is over breakfast, and I'm like, we'll see if just anybody picks up or whatever. So I call, and this woman answers and goes, hey. And I was like, hey, this is a friend of the owner of the phone. I was like, where is the phone? Like, who are you? What's going on? Like however I said it. And she goes, well, this is the front desk. His stuff is up here. And you're like, what? And I go, well, we're not far. We're just down the hall. We'll be there in a minute. So we go to the front desk lady, and she goes, and she had opened. She had like the opening shift.
Yeah.
So she didn't see you come in.
No, it was a guy.
Yeah.
Who by the way, I tipped generously.
Yeah.
For not calling the police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she goes, well, I've heard when I got in this morning, which is always a good start, because she's like, look, off the record, I don't know anything, but you got fucked up, sir. Like, so she's like walking us through this whole exchange. She goes, well, apparently this gentleman came in, blacked out, with a group of people, or like one of the people you went out with must have brought you back. It must have been them.
See, that's the whole thing. I don't remember.
But it must have been them.
Who got me back to the hotel?
But somebody.
Whether one of these people that roofied me, who thought it was funny, said, okay, we just drop them off at the hotel. Like when someone ODs. And you don't want to have responsibility for that, and you drop them off at the hospital.
Yeah, yeah. Or like, who commits a crime? All right, we'll take you home real quick. Like who's like they're the nicest mean people, It's like, at least they took him back to where he's staying, but they had gone through all your shit, like your wallet. That's how they whoever. Like, I'm assuming that's how they found out where you're staying, because all your shit was up at the front desk, but you either didn't have your ID or you didn't know, or something happened, but you checked into a new room.
Yeah. I came in and I told them that I was Clay Miles.
Yeah. You checked into a new room under the name Clay Miles.
Who happens to be a comic that I've worked with before, but a black comic who not only looks nothing like me, but I hadn't seen in maybe a couple of years.
Yeah.
But once again, thank you to the guy who instead of calling the police, go, this guy is completely shit-faced.
Yeah.
And
wasn't Clay supposed to be the guy originally that was supposed to do the gig with you?
No, he had nothing to do with it.
That's hilarious, because this whole time I thought he was the original like opener.
No, he had nothing to do with it.
That's hilarious.
And in fact, I just found out a few days ago that I actually said his name. That I said I was Clay. and Clay, if you ever hear this, I apologize. I had no idea.
That's fucking funny.
But yeah,
because of all the people, that's a beautiful name. I love the name Clay Miles. What a cool fucking name. It's like you wanted to be him. You want to be anywhere in that state of mind.
A lot of people, and I'll be very honest, a lot of people thought, that I just got drunk, but no, I know what drunk is. And I know what drunk feels like.
Yeah, you've been drunk a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Many times, I should say.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, come on, you're a grown man. What are you 30?
I'm 35.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, that's called just wisdom. It's called, But that's what I'm saying. You know what it feels like. You can tell. You know your body. You know how you react to shit.
Yeah, and I knew it wasn't drunk.
Yeah,
and I was worried. I was worried that the club owner, Jeff, in Cedar Rapids, would think that I just got fucked up and But the thing was that I truly, I mean, and I say this to anybody who ever parties, you know when you're drunk, and you know when it goes way beyond, and that's what it was. Mm-hmm. It was way beyond drunk. I'd never felt anything like it before. I'd never experienced anything like it before, and I've done almost every drug there is.
Yeah.
Except for ecstasy. I've never done ecstasy. I'd like to. So if any of your listeners, that's a joke. That's a joke. No, seriously. I've done all the drugs.
Yeah.
But I knew that wasn't. I mean, it wasn't just me having too many cocktails.
No.
It was horrifying.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah, no, because we went to the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember we went to the hospital and you're like, I need to get like tested because I know there's, like, because you were like, I got to file a police report. Like you were like gung ho. You're like, we're going after these bastards.
The irony of all of this is that do you remember the bouncer, the security guy?
Yeah.
He said they've been here before.
Yeah, they were like regulars.
And they've done the same thing.
Yeah.
So this all goes back to you warning me that these people were fucked up. And me going, off with you, my young lad.
Oh, shit. And can I say that all of this happened in the first 24 hours of me knowing it?
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable. And we spent the next 10 days together.
Yes.
And you were like, no more drinking for the next 10 days. And you didn't. You didn't drink once the rest of the week. And then, and now here we are like 5 years later, 6 years later.
Drinking our asses off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, now I know better. See, now I know what, I know you, like so like, I'm like, oh, that's just DC being funny. Or like, oh, no, I got to get him out of here.
Yeah. And you have been very kind. And for your listeners, you treat me like I'm your dad.
Come on, Dad.
You offer me your arm to walk through the snow. You don't want me to fall down.
Well, mainly because I don't want to pick you up.
Yeah.
It's more. It's a selfish. It comes from a selfish place. Personally,
I'm huge.
Well, you're tall. You carry your guitar. I'm like, I don't want to fucking have to pick you up, and it's more like it's preventative care.
That's
is what it is.
I'm a fat fuck.
You're tall. You're tall. You're tall. Goddamn. Yeah, it's like I said, we've been through a lot. That first trip, man, was crazy, and then now this week. But you've been filling me in on a lot of because you've been in comedy, or you've been, I guess, show business, however you would say it, for what, 40-some years, 41 years or something?
Years,
yeah, that's unbelievable. And you came up in at least in the clubs and stuff back when this shit was like,
oh yeah,
you were literally a rock star
before the wave.
Yeah, and you go. I mean, you're telling me this whole week you've been filling me in on your first marriage. That I guess we just gotta start there because that shit was crazy. You go, what did you say? I think you even did a bit on stage about marrying your first wife after knowing her for 5 days.
5 days, yeah.
5 literal days. A work week.
But she was the most amazingly beautiful woman I've ever at that time in my life.
Yes.
I'd never seen any woman that was that beautiful. But not only just beautiful, physically beautiful, it was like the way she dressed and the way she talked and what she was into, and I was into the same. This one was incredible.
Well,
I thought she was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. And then I find out after we get married that she's certifiable.
Well, let's go back to the night you met her, though. Because you were playing music.
I was playing music at a place in Orlando. Oh, well, actually, Winter Park, Florida. And so I'm with this girl. That I've been dating for a couple weeks.
So it's long term.
Yeah. And this friend of mine that had gone to Florida with me, he met Judy. Walking around Winter Park somewhere, her and her sister, and he brought them to the show. Yeah. And this girl walks in, and I mean, I noticed her right from the beginning.
Yeah.
But I was with my friend Crystal.
Friend.
Yeah. My girlfriend at the time.
Yes.
But I mean, I couldn't take my eyes off this girl.
Yeah.
And so apparently, she said to my friend, Juan, who brought her into the club, that she was really enjoying my folky music thing. Way before comedy, I was doing. I was playing acoustic guitar. I was playing folk music,
serious music. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and she says, she says to her sister and to Juan, if he plays a Joni Mitchell song, I'm going to fall in love with him. And I swear to God, just by chance, I played that. The next song was a Joni Mitchell song called A Case of You. And I played that song, and she comes up to me after my set and says, I really enjoyed what you did. And I paid no attention to Crystal.
She's like right there, like.
Which I'm so ashamed of that, actually.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm back sitting with Crystal when she walks out, and she was wearing thigh-high python skin 5-inch heels, boots. And as she walks out, I go, hey, I like your boots. And she comes over and she puts her boot in my crotch in front of the woman that I'm sitting with. And goes, shit. You like them? Would you like to kiss them? And I've never actually seen a woman physically with her eyes try to kill another woman. But it was just bizarre.
Yeah, well, I can just imagine the look that Crystal gave her.
Oh yeah, and then but what makes this story so bizarre?
You kissed the boots.
Is that I said, well, hey, well, it was nice to meet you, and I hope to see you again sometime. And Crystal, she walks out. She leaves me sitting there, and I go, well, that was probably a stupid thing to do. The next night, Judy, the girl with the raven black hair and the snakeskin
boots you'll never forget.
And we wind up going back to my hotel where I was living, and we got married 4 days later.
Jesus Christ, man!
And my mom performed the ceremony.
That's awesome.
And I wrote the ceremony loosely based on Romeo and Juliet.
Oh my God! I wish I was at this wedding.
But the thing was, okay, so not only was the wedding presided over by my mother, but it was advertised on the radio. Because my buddy was one of the biggest DJs in Central Florida. Mike Lyons.
Did you at least get a door deal out of it?
No, that was the whole thing. And we went into the radio studio, and he did all the music for the wedding. And I will never forget, as long as I live, my mom going, she didn't actually say this, but the way I remember it, this is going to be a clusterfuck. And I said, no, Mom, you could have heard a pin drop. She does a great job of doing the ceremony. But this is what scared the hell out of me, and ultimately wound up in the marriage not working out. So I'm sitting. I'm after the ceremony, and I had done a set for the people that were there, and the place was packed to the rafters.
Yeah. And
so there was an open bar for about 11 minutes.
Literally 11 minutes?
Like 11, yeah. The guy that owned the bar goes, open bar for 11 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome, though.
And then nobody else is going, then you pay. But anyway, so at the wedding, after my mom doing the ceremony,
that's
and
beautiful.
I get on stage and I play guitar for my new bride.
God damn it.
And her parents. And then I'm wandering around because it was, like I said, it was packed to the rafters.
You're mingling with your guests.
And it's packed to the rafters. This woman who I don't know who she was, never seen her before, comes up to me and puts her arms on my shoulders and kisses me on the cheek and says, I just wanted to wish you the best of luck. This is the most romantic thing I've ever seen in my life. I thought that was so sweet.
Right.
And I had no idea. All of a sudden, hand on my shoulder, Judy, my new wife, spins me around in front of this woman and goes, what's this, one of your old fucks? And I go, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
It's been 10 minutes and you're already a bitch.
Oh, and I go, okay, I think I could get out of this.
Yeah.
I haven't signed the papers.
Yeah, I haven't signed this yet.
And, and I have to tell you, honestly, the only thing that kept me in this was because I was looking forward to the trip to Disney World where we had our honeymoon.
Yes.
Disney World.
And what happened to Crystal and all this?
Never saw her again.
Yeah.
She wasn't amused
by
the entire thing.
She wasn't invited to the wedding.
No, she was. I wish.
God, she's got to. She heard that shit on the radio.
I wish.
Yeah. She's driving out of town.
I wish she.
Fuck you, DC.
I wish she would have shown up because she deserved an explanation. God damn, everybody deserved an explanation. But yeah, so yeah, it was a clusterfuck, and
God, that's awesome though.
As it turns out, she was insane.
Yeah,
and we were together for 11 months. My friend Peter was visiting us, and he and we had some cocktails and went to a strip bar, and we were out for a long time. And when we came home, she was pissed.
Yes.
And she's, where have you been? And we actually practiced this.
Because by now you know her.
Yeah.
You know her anger or whatever. You know her thing.
So at the exact same time, Pete goes, Denny's. And I go, big boy. And we thought that was so funny.
Yeah.
And she went insane. So we get into this huge fight, and Peter goes back into the guest room, and we're having this huge fight. And
oh my gosh,
it got to the point where it was like this close to death.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was. I could have
very possibly killed her.
Yeah,
because I mean, there was and we had that kind of very volatile relationship anyway.
Guys, just passion.
No, it was insanity.
Yes, no, no. This was by now it was like, okay, this is just not like, if it's that serious.
So anyway, we got into this huge fight, and I go, this is it. And we got into a physical altercation. I mean, like, I slapped her, and then she smacked me.
Yeah.
And I said, no, this is bullshit. I'm out of here. And I went into our bedroom, and I started, putting together my shit. And so she comes in, and and I have to tell you, the whole physical altercation about this. She goes into the bathroom of our house, and she thinks I'm going to kill her, which I'm standing outside the bathroom door, and I'm going, he.
Yeah, just rage.
Yeah.
Because this is 11 months of shit piled up.
And then when I heard her say, don't kill me, I started laughing. And that scared her more than anything else.
Oh shit! Because your laugh, laugh too is just very.
And I walked away from the door, and I walked into our bedroom, and I started putting my shit together.
Yeah.
And I went back to the guest room, and I woke Pete up. I said, Pete, you have to get me out of here right now, or I'm going to kill this woman.
Jesus.
And I'm gonna go to prison, and I'm gonna die in prison. He says, you guys are just. You're just having a little tiff.
Fucking Pete.
Yeah.
A little tiff.
You're having a little tiff.
He goes, I just told you I might kill a human being. I might kill
this woman.
Yes.
Anyway, so Pete goes, I finally get him up. And he goes, okay. So he gets his stuff together, and then he goes out to his van, and I go, and then all of a sudden Judy's gotten her, she comes together in some weird way, and she goes, where are you going? I said, are you high? Are you crazy? I'm out of here. You're insane. And I Detroit, Michigan, 8 Mile between Woodward and Livernois, somewhere in there, is where we were living. And I get into Peter's van, and she's going, don't leave me. And snow is falling. I mean, it was out of a movie.
Yeah, what?
Snow is falling. Don't leave me. Bye-bye, baby.
You got your hand out the window. I'm out of here, bitch.
And Pete goes, I can't drive tonight, man. I gotta rest. So we go to this motel about I don't know, a mile from our house off of 8 Mile, where they don't actually rent rooms by the night. They rent them by the hour.
Oh shit.
It's like a hooker motel.
Yeah.
And we spend 3 or 4 hours in that motel. The next day we take off and go to Florida, and that was the last time I saw her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you never. Oh my, because what? That was the 80s.
No, that was 77.
Jesus, man, yeah, because it's not like there's no Facebook, there's no cell phones.
No.
You can disappear like that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and literally the last time I saw her was when I just left.
I left.
Holy shit, man. Yeah, so there's no way she doesn't know where you went.
Well, actually, though, and to finish this story, she finds me in Florida. My partner that I was with for many, many years, Hampton Nucci's.
Yes.
And we had the comedy team, Malone and Nucci's. We're down in Florida, and it's okay. Now I walked out on her not too long before Christmas. New Year's Eve, we're in Florida. We're playing this gig. All of a sudden, in through the door comes, oh no, Judy. And I couldn't believe it. I was going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Where did she come from? First of all, how'd she get there? How did she know I'm here?
Yeah.
I never did find out how she knew I was there.
Holy shit. But Crystal.
But she comes. It could have been. But
Dude,
anyway,
Crystal's like, I've been waiting for this shit. She's like in the back just smoking.
Son of a bitch. Anyway,
I've been waiting for this day my whole life.
But Judy comes in and she goes, I just, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't be here, but I really missed you. And I thought maybe if you thought it was okay that we could spend New Year's Eve together. And okay, now I should have known right off the bat that, that was just too bizarre.
Yeah.
But she goes, I rented a motel room.
By the hour.
No. The Winter Park Hotel, which is, at that time, now it's like an old folks home, but at that time it was very ritzy.
Yeah, it was nice.
So she got
she went out. She went all out.
She goes, I got a room at the Winter Park Hotel. I have an 8-ball and a bottle of champagne, a couple bottles of champagne, and I just thought maybe we could spend New Year's Eve together. And at first I was scared, but she was so sweet and passionate. I go,
don't fall.
Well, maybe all of this. Maybe she's not insane anymore.
It's been a week.
No,
God damn it, man!
It had been several weeks.
God,
man.
pretty women.
But anyway, so we go back to the Winter Park Hotel, and we have great sex, and we do drugs, and we drink champagne.
This is amazing. Jesus, man. And she was beautiful.
She's very, very beautiful.
I would have fallen for it.
Anyway, so the next morning, I wake up, and she's way ahead of me, and she's packing her stuff, and she's dressed already, and she's packing her stuff, and I wake up and I open my eyes and I go, "What's going on? Where are you going?" She goes, "I'm going home." So what do you mean you're going home? Because after all this passionate lovemaking and everything,
yeah.
I thought maybe she had made a turnaround.
Yeah,
and she goes, I came down here because I thought you owed me one last fuck you son of a bitch.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And so that's how she punished me.
Holy
shit. She came down and gave me drugs and champagne and screwed my lights out and said that I owed her that and went, and then that is the last time that we ever saw each other face to face.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God, dude. That's unbelievable. That's wild.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
Now and when I said that's the last time I saw her face to face, that's the last time I saw her physically. But years later, I was you get curious every once in a while.
Of course. And now, so years later, do you mean so this was the 70s? You mean like 80s, 90s? Because I mean, you forget,
like maybe 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. So with the. So now there's a way to find
curious,
people.
and I ran a check on her on the internet, and I found her mugshots.
Oh my God!
And she'd been busted for illegally trying to get prescriptions for opioids filled.
Oh shit!
And okay, so she did it once, and then I can't believe I saw that, and I went back in, and she got busted a second time. So as far as I know, my first wife is in prison.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's probably a good thing that, and it's like one of those things where looking back on it, because it was so long ago, it's like, what do you think? Like, it's like what would have happened had you tried to work that shit out? Who knows what your life would be like?
Oh yeah. I'm sure. No, I would have been in prison.
Yeah. No, because you guys would have had been like some sort of crime duo.
Oh no, I would have killed her.
Or that, yeah.
Yeah, and I would have wound up in prison.
Yeah, well, shit. That's good.
But it was. I mean,
man, yeah. What an 11 months though. You know?
Oh Jesus, yeah.
Like so much shit. So that is ultimately what brought you up to Detroit. Did you have any ties to Detroit before? Because you said you lived there 9 years, and I know that.
No, the first thing that brought me to Detroit was her,
that marriage, and you.
But also it was the first time that I ever got paid good money for a music gig.
Yeah.
When I came up to Detroit, and that's when I started playing this place on between 8 and 9 Mile on Woodward called the Delta Lady.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was playing there as a solo, and then Hampton Nucci's, my partner, we had spent all this time together in Toronto as street musicians, and we were going to get together. He was supposed to come down to Florida, but as it turned out, I had to leave Florida for. And that's a whole nother story.
It's another episode.
But he came down to Detroit, and we started playing together, and that's where Malone and Nucci's came from, and that's a whole different story too.
Your whole life just fascinates me for some reason. Like it's not even just like, I mean, you have stories, but it's just some of this is fucking crazy.
Well, that's why I told you, man. That's why I told you. You have to take this stuff down because I could die anytime.
Jesus.
And I just want you to have these stories.
Jesus.
I want to be remembered.
Yeah.
As someone that had an interesting life, and I have.
No, it is. But just by pure existence, not even like, even if you didn't try to do any of that shit, the Judy thing, 11 months. Like that's such a small part of your life, but it was such a big part of your life.
Oh yeah.
Like on a calendar, it's not even a year.
No.
Yeah. How many years? Like it's 2019. It wasn't just some girl. Like this, just like that was such a big part of your life. Holy shit!
It was insane. It was insane.
And then just living in Detroit. So you came back when you came back for 9 years. How old? Like were you an adult by then? I mean, like.
Oh no, yeah. When I lived in Detroit, it was okay. I moved here because of my crazy wife.
Yeah.
And I lived here from 1977
to 1977.
No, that was, and then went down to Florida, and then got together with my partner who I'd met in Toronto, Hampton Nucci's, and then we wound up back in Detroit because we were making good money.
Yeah,
and we started making huge money, and we were. And we start, that's where the whole comedy team came from.
So you really ended up here more for the music eventually, like after Judy, Florida, and then back to Detroit.
Well, came back here for doing music, and that's when we just by accident started doing comedy.
Yeah, and
that's when Mark Ridley, Comedy Castle, who at that time was Comedy Kingdom, he heard about us, and he goes. I heard you guys are really funny, and he said, I'd like you guys to play my comedy club, and we go, oh no, we're not comics, we're musicians.
That was like an insult almost.
Well, but what was hilarious is Mark Ridley goes, well, take everything out of your show that isn't funny, and you're comics.
Brilliant man. Yeah. He is a brilliant man.
I give him credit for starting Malone and Nucci.
Yeah, just to even just suggest that, I'd probably would have just been like, all right, guys, if you ever change your mind, come, you come on down. But so you spent like 9 years in Detroit, and that was in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. Man, it's an interesting time to be in Detroit.
I knew all these people. And I don't mean to say this, I feel like I'm bragging or Hampton and I were like one of the biggest things in Detroit. I mean, people were coming
You were a draw. You're selling tickets.
Yeah, people are coming to.
You're making money. You're selling tickets. You guys are doing well.
We had a 6th anniversary party that my partner and I had been together 6 years, and it was at the Delta Lady, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this. There were people lined up halfway around the block to get in. The place only held about 80 people, and like comedy clubs these days, you do a show and they clear the house and then you do another show. Well, back then they weren't clearing the house. People were just waiting outside in line to get in when somebody else left.
Dude, what a time. And
my partner and I had a Malone and Nucci's lookalike contest. I'm not kidding. And people came and they but the winners were these 2 girls, and I'm not going to mention their names because I don't want them to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
But these 2 girls won, who not only dressed up like Malone and Nucci's. The one girl put a fake mustache on like my partner, and the other girl had really long brown hair like me, and they actually put together parodies of our parodies.
Holy shit.
And performed them.
The highest compliment.
And so they win the contest, and the prize for the winners were they got Malone and Nucci's t-shirts and a night out on the town with Malone and Nucci's. And so they go, okay, what's the night on the town? We took them to a Coney Island, and then to a porno movie with Johnny Wad Holmes.
Wait, was this when they were in a theater?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God!
And these we thought that we would embarrass these girls by taking them to the porn. These girls, when Johnny, for those of your listeners, I'm sure they know who Johnny the Wad is. He had this huge cock, and
the Wad.
Yeah, Johnny the Wad. And when Johnny the Wad whips out his dick, these girls that we have taken to the movie go moo, and we're going, oh my God!
Oh shit!
How embarrassing! But they had a great time, and we had a great time, and I wound up dating the girl that looked like me for a long time.
Oh my God!
It's true. It's true.
There's something about you that I just. It's not me. It's me.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's literally, it's me. Oh,
but that was so, and my partner and I, we had so much fun in this town. We had so much fun.
Because like the time, like first of all, like I mean, because that era for music and entertainment and shit, you could do something like that. Because like what else were you gonna do? Like you could sell tickets, and you guys were great. I mean, I never saw you obviously, but like anyone that I mentioned, like Malone and Nucci, like people are like, oh, dude, back in the day. And nobody, but that's the thing is like
what's hilarious was the fact that all these people were coming to see us. I mean, like we were hanging out with the Romantics and the Look.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and any of you Detroit people who knows from the early '80s, they remember the Look and the Rockets.
Yeah,
which was Bob Seger's manager's second attempt at trying to put together a great band. But I was hanging out with all these people, and Hampton was a lot more conservative than I was. Bless him. He was like hanging out, but I on the other hand was
you indulged.
Oh yeah, indulged in mountains of cocaine and hanging out with the bands.
But for that, that era that came with the territory. Everybody. I mean, yeah, man. Because you, did you, all I'm remembering now you talking about Alan.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
The two, the ice pick.
Now, will you explain Alan to me? Because I vaguely remember you telling me on the steps of the Cedar Falls hotel room that we were in, the hotel
ice pick.
Yeah, ice pick.
Yeah,
because the '80s, you're around all these people, so you're around.
I started hanging out with these mafia connected people.
True mafia.
Yeah,
real mafia people.
Yeah, they loved my partner and I. They would come down, and I don't think it's really wise that I mention names here, but Alan, no middle name, no last name. And they call him the ice pick because he carried in his pocket the thing that looked like a pen, but you push this little button and a 7-inch ice pick comes like a switchblade.
Jesus Christ!
And there was this other guy, and I want to mention his name, who he was a sweet guy, a little Italian guy that when I first met him gave me his card, and it was a gun and a knife crossed, and it said persuasion engineer.
Yes.
Yeah. And who, by the way, saved my life one time. That's why I don't want to mention his name.
Can you explain that?
Well,
can you talk about that?
Well, he saved my life by getting me out of a strip bar when this girl was flirting with me, and her boyfriend, the biker, was there and wanted to kill me because her girlfriend, which, by the way, is her job to flirt with people.
Right.
And it's not good business to kill the people,
the customers
that come, but anyway, so this guy came and saved my life by his favorite weapon, by the way, was not a gun or a knife, was a crossbow, a tiny crossbow with poison darts.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding.
It can't be real. They were comedians.
No.
They were true mafia.
Yeah. And I used to ride with this guy. I used to ride with him in his car, and I go, please don't ever go into an alley, because I was always convinced that it would be the same scene from The Godfather where Sonny gets machine gunned at the toll booth. That. Yeah, it was insane. This guy, I mean, I got to tell you, he's crazy, but I loved him. I used to go to his house, and he had live grenades on his coffee table and strippers over, and I would go. And this one time, I go over to his house, and he's got all these strippers there, and they're all shooting up B-12.
Oh, Jesus!
Yeah, this was the big thing. Yeah, and it's like, DC, you got to get some B-12, and so this stripper shoots B-12 into my ass.
What?
with a needle, shoots me up with B-12.
See that? I mean, looking at it now, all right. You drop your pants and you go ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I mean, this was.
Yeah, you're certified, right? You're a stripper. Okay, yes, please go ahead.
Thank you, Doc.
Yeah. You don't even have like the most qualified person in the room do it. You just go, all right, you got it. All right, go ahead.
But I had a crush on a lot of strippers.
Of course. They were so nice.
They were very nice.
What were there? Any fun names?
Yes.
Bambi.
Bambi. Patches.
Needles
from old Shantytown. No, that was. I know where you're going here because of the part of my show that I talk about that.
Dude, you got to write a book.
Well, actually, I'm working on that.
You should.
I'm working on that.
Might as well. I mean, somebody's got to hear these because these are great. Just your life just fascinates me. That's all. I was just like, I'm just blown away, and the fact that you're still here.
Yeah,
which I'm grateful for.
And we have discussed that before.
Which I'm grateful for. I didn't mean
the fact that after everything that I have done to myself,
or like how many times do you think you got in
the drugs that I have consumed and the alcohol that I have consumed and the fun that I have had, and I actually loved living in this city. And I mean, my favorite place to eat was Greektown, Hella's Greektown. Playing at the Delta Lady, and we had every Tuesday, every Wednesday night at the Delta Lady, people would come down, and I have so many amazing memories of this town. And for all the people that made that amazing part of my life, thank you so much.
Yeah, so after Detroit, you went to you went back to Portland.
No, after Detroit, we went to L.A.
L.A. Yeah. Oh yeah, you did the L.A.
And then
move.
I had a nervous breakdown, and then I went to Oregon, and Hampton went to Texas.
Yeah. So, we go, years at a time without seeing each other, maybe call or text here and there. I see on Facebook one day, picture of you in a hospital bed.
My lung collapsed.
Yeah, and this was last year, 2018.
No, this is like 3 months ago.
Oh shit!
And what happened was I found out that I have a syndrome. I never knew I had that. My whole life I've had this syndrome, but it never started screwing with me until last year.
Uh-huh.
And it's called Birt-Hogg-Dubé. And you laugh because we were talking about this before. It sounds like a French law team. Oh, yes, well, this is from the office of Birt-Hogg-Dubé. But Birt-Hogg-Dubé. One of the I say affectations. One of the things that happens from Birt-Hogg-Dubé is spontaneous pneumothorax, which is a lung collapsing, and that's what happened. Jesus. And my lung collapsed, and I had no idea that I did a show. I did an hour show with a collapsed lung. Now,
Yikes.
had I known that was a collapsed lung, that would have been heroic. but just because I couldn't breathe and I thought I was having an anxiety attack or possibly a asthma attack, that's not so heroic. But anyway, I did.
You worked through it.
I did an hour show, and I got through it. And 2 days after the show, 2 days until I got to the hospital and found out that I had a collapsed lung. So they fixed it first. I mean, they punched a hole in the wall of my chest and released the air so my lung could fill up again. And then 2.5 weeks later, it collapsed again. And this time they had to go in surgically and attach my lung to the side of my chest wall. So now, here I am a couple months later on the road doing it, and I was a little worried because
you can fly.
Yeah, well, the article, if you go to bhdsyndrome.org,
you'll see where DC Malone's playing. See his upcoming dates.
No, it's you
can get a copy of his CD.
You're not supposed to fly.
Yeah,
because the pressure can do it. But after I had the surgical procedure, the surgeon said, "No, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead and fly."
he's like, let's see.
Hey, I don't care. Fly.
You're a grown man.
Exactly.
Do what you want.
But it was really scary. It was.
I bet, man.
But yeah, so this is my first run. This is my first run since being in the hospital. And well, you be the judge, huh? Everything's going okay.
Never would know if no one told me or I didn't, see on Facebook you in the hospital bed.
We had a lot of fun shows this week. Last week and this week.
This has been a lot of fun, man. Shows have been great.
And tonight, here we are in Grayling, Michigan.
Yes.
And we had a great show tonight.
Tonight was a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very fun. Very fun, DC.
So I just want to.
You want to toast?
I want to. Yeah.
Should we
toast?
I
do the toast? Should I do the Irish toast?
Absolutely. All right. So can we explain? Because not to make. I know you talk about it on stage, but this is a real thing your grandfather used to do.
My grandfather is
because you're very Irish.
My grandfather, yes. My grandfather from County Cork, Ireland, and I joke on stage. I say he taught me this toast when I was 9. but it's not really a joke. He did.
This is real.
Because he used to give me shit face.
This is one of my things though, because you can always tell when a comic's like exaggerating. But I was like, no, that's some real shit.
But
because you can tell. My
grandfather. So I raise your glasses out there, my friends. As my grandfather used to say, here's to the woman in the little red shoes. She doesn't have her cherry and she's got the blues. She may not have her cherry, but that's no sin, because she's still got the box that the cherry came in. Cheers, my friend.
Oh, DC, this has been a great week, sir. I appreciate you doing the podcast up here in the woods.
Thank you
with me.
Thank you.
And,
thank you for working with me, man.
Yeah, this has been fun.
I love you.
I love you too, buddy.